Hi, I'm Sam, your resident fantasy reader,
And I'm Morgan, your romance reader, and we welcome you to Just One More Page.
where it's never just one more page.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello. Sam, can I just
Morgan.
tell you something real quick?
Sure.
I have been bamboozled. I have been led astray.
Yeah.
Listen, I went to the Barnes& and Noble Memorial Day sale, weekend sale, because like it was on TikTok. Did you see the TikToks?
Oh, yeah, I
Where
saw
they're
them.
like,
Yeah.
"It's on sale, buy one thing, get one thing for $1." And I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go mosey my way down there," you know? Yeah, no, it was not the best sale. It was like I think the things that were on sale were things that were literally, like, clearance items, like, things that they probably just needed to get out of the store,
Yeah.
and that's the stuff that was on sale. But did I walk out of Barnes& Noble with 5 books? Yes, I did. But, I go in thinking I'm gonna buy books. I wanna buy some books, I feel like you have that mindset, so you have to get it. But, yeah, I was a little bamboozled.
Yeah. I feel like the sales that bookstores have been putting on recently have been like not real sales. Like it
Mm-mm.
says sale and there's obviously things like on sale, whatever. But like they're nowhere what they were like 5 years ago or even like 3 years ago when Barnes and Noble for Christmas did their like what was it, like half off
Yeah.
hardcovers or whatever. And it was
Listen,
like all of their hardcovers, like all of their inventory got wiped out. And then the year after that, it got worse. And the year after that, it got worse. And then you had to be like a part of their membership program and stuff. It's gotten messy.
yeah, I did. I think that I was there the first year when they did the half off hardcover books, and let me just say, it was pure gold for me. I bought so many books, but I will say that the next couple of months it looked empty. The whole store looked so empty because they were having such a hard time getting new inventory in, and I was
Mhm.
like, "Oh, my poor Barnes and Noble is starving for books. Oh, you poor thing." But yeah, it was a hot mess, just like the thing we're going to talk about today. So
Yeah.
we thought we would take a break from our books and we would talk about something interesting. So, everyone dreams about a convention where you can meet your favorite writers, meet your favorite readers, or even meet your favorite podcasters. But but what you don't expect is to wait in lines for hours, have your information leaked, which, listen, if you're thinking that we're going to talk about DashCon or the Fyer Festival, you are incorrect because we already talked about DashCon. Go check out that episode, by the way. But this, in some ways, is the Fire, or is that what's called
Like
Fire?
Fire
Whatever.
Fest
Yeah,
2.0.
Firefest. Yep. 2.0, but make it about books. And this is Reader's Take on Denver, which, Sam, this is like the convention we were going to go to, right?
Yeah, because we were talking about wanting to do at least like one book convention. Because we were like, oh, we'll go do this because I love Denver, and it sounded like a really good idea. And then I got pregnant, and I was like, money, and so we just didn't do it.
Well, it was, a hot mess, because Raiders Take on Denver was, such a good idea in the beginning because the first year they had it, it went perfect. It was ran by Lisa Renee Jones and her husband Diego Harrison, who is a writer, and she writes thrillers and romance novels. And their first year of having this event, it went great because they had Arthur signings, and that was pretty much it. But the next year, they decided to make the convention bigger and better, and by adding in agent/editor appointments, which I would absolutely love, diverse workshop programs, and resources for aspiring and expanding careers, and much more. And the ticket prices were $300 pre-sale and $375 if you bought it later on, which I don't know about you, Sam. That's kind of expensive.
Yeah, that's. I mean, because we saw the ticket prices, and I was
Yeah.
like, well, that's not. I mean, if you're going to get all these, because a lot of times with
Yeah.
these book cons and stuff, you get a lot of free books, you get a lot of free swag, like you get a lot given to you. So I was like, $300 isn't necessarily like unreasonable as long as they give you the bang for your buck.
I completely agree. I think that it would have been a good thing if you are an aspiring writer and you want to like go in and see, like, get your name out there or talk to an editor, because I know as myself who wants to be a writer, this would have been a good opportunity for me to go and be like, "Hey, here's my invisible novel that I have yet to sit down and write. Please look at it."
Yeah.
Like, I think it would have been a good idea. So do you wanna talk about, like, the convention itself?
Yeah, so basically the convention ended up being an absolute hot mess, as Morgan was saying. So let's
Mhm,
go to the organization of all of this. So basically, on October 28th, Lisa Renee Jones had put out that they weren't going to do lines. There was no lines that were going to be a part of this. They were going to have this whole process to where, like, instead of standing in line, like you'd get a number called, and you would go to the spot that you were supposed to be at for whatever random number you were having. So basically, they were going to do like a WhatsApp. And I don't know. I mean, I used WhatsApp before, but I'm not very familiar with how WhatsApp works and stuff. What I do know about WhatsApp, though, is that you have to give your personal phone number to get into it, or you can use like a Skype phone number or something to sign up for it. But people can see those numbers, and authors and publishers, and then also the attendees were all in these WhatsApps. So everyone like had access to people's information, and that was like no bueno.
yeah.
Another thing too is that they put this announcement up and they were like, everyone needs to stay hydrated because when you're in Colorado, you're at a higher altitude.
Mhm,
And when I went to Colorado the last time, basically what they tell you is, I don't know if you know this, but when you're used to being like closer to the sea level, like we are down here in the Carolinas,
mhm.
when you go into Colorado and you're at a higher altitude, one alcoholic drink is equal to two in your system,
Ooh.
and it's very easy to get dehydrated as well. So they're like, you need to hydrate, you need to make sure you're drinking, you need to blah, 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 blah. They didn't offer water to the authors, to the volunteers. There was like a water table there that was like offered for the guests and stuff, but it basically ran out of water. So these people had no water, no access to it. They're at this high altitude. So people were getting sick. Um, like it was just, it was horrible. And then they also had these volunteers that were helping out with the tables and everything. And one author that I was reading, it was a screenshot taken by at Ashanti Reads. But it was by the author Holly Renee, and
Mhm.
said that like she had this volunteer that was helping her out, and they were saying something along the lines of, if the line gets to a certain point, then we need to start ticketing people so it doesn't get out of hand. So again, there wasn't supposed to be any lines, there was a line. And there was supposed to be ticketing people to get them out of the lines, but the volunteer had no tickets and it was just getting out of control. So somebody else came in and was like, here, I'm going to start taking control, and started giving people these random numbers to tell them to come back the next day.
What?
And they would call their numbers on the WhatsApp.
Yeah,
Never got their numbers called. And this
yeah.
volunteer was also yelling at people to tell them just to get away, like go away. You're not supposed to be here. So people who had spent hundreds of dollars to not only get there,
Mhm.
to pay for the hotel room, everything, all the costs attached to getting to this, still weren't able to see a lot of the authors that they were supposed to see. So it was just an absolute chaotic mess.
Well, I heard that Rebecca Euros was supposed to be there, and people bought
Yes,
tickets to go see her,
and it
and
was a lottery system.
yes, and she even said, like, "Hey, I can stay longer," and they're like, "Nope, nope, you gotta go." Can you
Uh
imagine
huh.
paying so much money to see your favorite writer, and then you find out it's not like, it's a lottery system. There's no say that you're gonna be able to do it, which is so frustrating. I
Uh huh.
The one thing, though, that I really caught my attention to was the fact that not only did they, once again, you said they didn't have water, they ran out of lanyards, they ran out of swag bags. They also had no trash cans, so many writers had to put their trash under the table. Many writers who attended the event and held signings claimed that their books and other items were stolen. And some people even missed panels because they weren't properly notified. And also, the thing that, like, and I saw a couple people post about it, so I do wanna mention it. They said that there was another event going on in the same location, that men came into the building and they weren't, like, no one stopped them, they weren't asked for a ticket, there was no, like, there was a very lack of security, and
Mm-hmm.
that they actually ended up, unfortunately, assaulting other women, and that is heartbreaking to me considering the fact that this is supposed to be, like, a safe space for you to go, for you to be, like, check out your favorite writers, and you get assaulted? Ah, it just makes my blood boil, Sam. It
Mm-hmm.
just makes my blood boil because, like, I feel like this is supposed to be a safe space. This is supposed to be a space for you to be, like, comfortable and get to talk to your favorite writers and you get assaulted, which
Yeah.
is heartbreaking. I really hope I really hope the people that were affected by that are doing a lot better. My heart goes out to them. But and then another thing that we did talk about is the fact that they were pulling random influencers up to the
Yes.
stage. Do you want to talk about
Yep.
that?
So basically, first of all, I mean, we're gonna keep going with the hot mess express that this thing is. So they had
Mhm.
different panels set up, and a lot of the panels ended up getting double booked, or a table would get moved, and the author or the volunteer wouldn't get told, so they'd be setting up things in the wrong places, and then they just like didn't have MCs to be running these panels, and
Yeah.
so they had like all these influencers, which by the way. Most of the influencers that got invited to go still had to pay for their own ticket, just FYI.
Which is
Uh,
crazy to me. Why are you invite if you invite someone to your event to do and you're like, okay, because a lot of times when you get like asked to collab with a certain company, like which I'm assuming that's what it is, where they're kind of like going there to record content for them for
mhm.
like, to show off Readers Take on Denver and you make them pay for their own ticket. That's a
So
no. Mm,
it's a no. And then also like these poor influencers, they were like, we need people to MC these panels. You in the corner who has, if you were lucky enough to get an influencer's badge, you're gonna come MC this. So you're pulling a reader to a panel of authors that there's a real possibility they don't know any of the authors because I mean there's hundreds and hundreds of authors that are in this world. I mean, we don't know all of them. And I
yeah.
know as like if we were ever invited as an influencer to a panel, even if we didn't know who the authors were prior to that panel, we would be doing research, we'd be looking back at their
Yeah.
book logs, we would be making sure that we knew what we were talking about, what the panel was about. Like you prepare. So
Yeah,
that way you're
exactly.
not like caught off guard. I mean, there's still something to be said for like authenticity and just organic flow and stuff. But at the same time, you need to at least have a foundation of the people you're talking about and the audience you're talking to. And
Mhm.
these people were just like yanked from the audience and put up there and was like, all right, MC this panel. Also, there was a moment, and I didn't get to the author's name, but I did watch this TikTok, and I'll put the author's name and stuff into our description. Everything and everywhere we got our resources will be in the description. But basically, he was talking about his book that he was writing,
Mhm.
and he'd been writing it for a while, and it had like one title, and it was like I don't know the something son. And another author on the same panel was like, "You stole my idea. That's my idea." And the title of her book, which had already been published, was
Oh,
really, really
yeah.
close to the title that he had also published.
Yeah.
But he had receipts basically saying like, "I've been writing this book for years, and now it's finally coming out," and like with like timestamps and stuff. So I mean, he's fine. He didn't plagiarize nothing, but like no one had control over that fight either. And he was just like, listen, I've been writing this book for a while. I've been doing the research on this book, but this book is coming out. And the other author, like, no one controlled the situation and shut it down. So
No.
that was really, really sad.
Because, like, it's very frustrating because it's like, I know that, like, they had such a good year the first year with just having signings, just having people meet the writers, but the whole Wattpad situation or not Wattpad, oh my god, Wattpad, no.
What's that?
What's that? Sorry. What's been on my head on my mind, sorry. Like, getting their numbers leaked, and
Hmm.
that is a, big no-no. Having too many people there, another big no-no, which I'm surprised that the fire marshal didn't come because I heard that they overbooked themselves.
Yeah,
So
that's a little scary.
yeah, and then people stealing stuff, people the swag bags, lanyards running out. Like that's obviously not good, especially since you paid money. So you think that, oh, paid pre-sales for these tickets, you would have enough stuff to match them out tickets.
Yeah, in theory. But like
And
I saw some pictures and stuff of that line, and people were saying that they were standing in line for like 4 hours just for
that's
registration.
I mean, listen, they said no lines, but
Yeah,
there's
no
a line.
lines.
No lines,
Lies.
but there's a line.
Lies. There
So
was one girl,
mhm.
I think her name was that I found was called like I think it was like Lois Lania or something like that. I'm gonna be getting her and another one mixed up. But they basically said like look at the Comic Con lines and the sheer amount of people who go to Comic Con and how fast they get through
Yeah.
and they have probably 7 to 10 times more people showing up on a single daily basis than this event had. and it still took 4 hours to get through the line. And then they had like these like random people showing up all of a sudden, and they were like, "All right, we're gonna start shouting out like the first letter of your last name, like." And then telling people they were in the wrong lines, but there was no signage anywhere to be like, this is where you need to go. So there was like no flow. Like even if you're gonna have a line, at least have a flow and like kind of an idea of like where you're going, and then that way you can like look around and use context clues and figure out where the
Yeah.
heck you're supposed to be, rather than having these unpaid volunteers coming and yelling at you and harassing you for an event you paid money to be at.
Yeah, exactly. And I will say that I would be extremely extremely upset considering the fact that like no one wants to go to a convention and just get yelled at and screamed at by other people. Like that's not what we signed up for. We signed up to get books to meet our favorite writers, and that's not the case. And like I would have been tricked too, Sam, about going to this event because their schedule, I don't know if you saw the schedule,
I did.
but their schedule seems so cool. Like they had they had like reader panels, they had and it was cool because each panel was like a different type of like reading trope that writers write, like small town romances, billionaire romances, dark romances, which I would have absolutely loved. And then they had panels like draft to digital, how to move your draft to ebooks, how to trick your readers, like how to trick your readers for like thrillers and like scary books like that. And they had a panel where Barnes and Noble sent someone to talk to you about how to get into the industry, and it just I like honestly like looking at that schedule made me so excited, especially the speakeasy at the end of the night. But knowing that there was no water and that, like you said, that the attitude makes you feel like you're drinking not just one drink but two drinks.
Uh-huh.
Oh God, oh, I'm surprised no one else like there wasn't any huge like I don't know, fire or something else crazy to just end this. Well,
Yeah.
I will say that I did see that they have a strict no refund policy, meaning everyone that went to the event and were not like offered any refund.
Mhm.
That's crazy to me.
That well, I mean, are you surprised? Because everyone and their brother would have been like, "I need a refund, like now."
Oh, did we talk about how the money? Did we say that the money went to a?
Oh, her personal charity?
Yes.
Yes.
Why? I listen. That is so shady, Sam.
Well, and the thing about it is like if you're going to raise money for your own charity, because there's been events and stuff where people raise money for their own charity and it
Mhm.
goes to like something. It's usually very well advertised that like all proceeds will go to this charity. And then you can like look it up and stuff. But it was very like hush hush down in like the super fine print at the bottom of a page where it was like, oh, this is what the money's going to go toward. Like if I was doing raising money for a charity event, I would make sure that it was like in big bold letters because then people can like donate to the charity event and then it gets like more traction. So that way it's more than just like my event is helping, but like more people may want to help later on, even if they don't like have the money now to maybe go to this event. Like maybe they like the charity and then they'll have time to donate. Like there's a lot to be said for like being very transparent about what's going on because it'll help you in the long run rather than being very hush hush and then you also being the owner of it.
Yes, exactly. And then also, like, on top of that, I just feel like why do you even need to have a foundation to donate to? I guess it's a tax refund, I guess, in some ways.
Yeah.
To be like, oh, we're donating to this charity, so it's a tax like write off. But I think that at the end of the day, she and her husband reached for the stars and failed completely.
Yeah.
And I feel like they just took on a bigger bite of something that they just couldn't handle. I think it was a lack of communication. What app was a hot mess. The lack of like planning, it was just a chaotic mess, which I mean, Sam, I'm actually low key sad we didn't go to see the hot mess because I feel like,
I mean we missed out on DashCon. We were both like Tumblr nerds, so I would kind of wish we could have gone just for the stories and the trauma, you know.
just for the shared trauma. I wanted a bite of that trauma, okay? Um,
But yeah, I
uh,
mean, I guess if it's coming down, there is a happy ending to this story, and
Ooh.
that is it's not happening next year.
What? What? Is this not happening?
Oh my God. So, I know that a lot of these stories started coming out like after the
Mhm.
actual event happened. And I think it was almost immediately, at least through Instagram. I don't know how much was on TikTok, but it was like authors were posting pictures saying, I have pulled out of Readers Take Denver 2025, or I'm no longer attending, or I'm no longer supporting, or like
Yeah.
apologizing on behalf of the whole event, and they're not even the ones that were responsible for it. I mean, Abigail Owen was literally like, "Hey guys, like this may have been one of my it was one of her most successful events."
I
And she
love
was
that for
like,
her.
"I'm so sorry that like certain people couldn't get to
Yeah.
me." And she was like, "If you were supposed to come see me or whatever," she's like, "just email me and I will email you. I will send you like a bookmark and a signed book plate and stuff." So she was trying to
Yes.
like make up for the fact that this was a hot mess and the people who like it was very successful for her, but it could have been like more successful for her.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
so yeah, a lot of authors had started pulling out of it, and I think enough people pulled out that they were like, "We're not doing this again next year," and they canceled Readers Take Down for 2025.
I think it was the smartest thing to do. I
Oh
honestly
yeah,
think, Sam, we should run a convention and have our own hot mess of it. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. We could never. We would never do that to you
my type
guys.
A personality and anxiety would not allow it.
Actually, I feel like we'd be best at it because we both have anxieties and we both are planners to a T. So it would be perfect, but we'd be in the corner crying. They'd be like, "This is the best event ever," and we'd be like, "Don't talk to us. We're stressing
Listen,
out."
listen, like I tried to do a birthday party and I was stressed out. I don't think I could run a convention.
Listen, I'm planning a bachelorette party this weekend, and it's like I've had everything planned out down to a T. I have where we're going. I have eternity. I have restaurants we're going to, and then the other people going are like, actually, let's go over here. I'm like, but you're not following the plan. You're not following the plan I set in stone. And I have to like take a deep breath, and be like, yeah, wherever you want to go, just you can go. But my eyes twitching in the background. I'm like, oh gosh,
Oh
you're
no,
ruining the
I would have
plan.
been
You're ruining the
like,
plan.
listen, I would have handed everybody the itinerary. I still would because you're still going. You haven't gone
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah.
Been like, this is what we're doing. If you deviate from the plan, you will be left behind.
Well, I literally like I was like, because we're doing something, and then I chose I printed out a list of restaurants nearby that we can walk to after the thing we're doing, and then one of them is like, no, let's go over here. I'm like, okay, I guess so. I just spent hours looking at restaurants, like fake tearing up. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
no. I mean, we would probably run the best like book convention ever, but then we would have to be like put on like suicide watch or something because we would just be so stressed out.
We'd be so stressed. It'd be horrible. It'd be horrible. But
Now, if someone wants us to come and volunteer
oh yeah.
or be like the influencers that come and like video stuff, absolutely 110%. Let's go. Let's have fun.
Or we could totally do panels, but please give us enough notice because
Yes.
that would I mean, I would love to do that, but do not drag me onto stage because I will run away.
I will
I will
throw
just
up.
I will be like Forrest Gump and I will just keep on running away.
Run, Forrest, run.
Yes. Do you have anything else you'd like to add about this event, Sam?
Low key, wish we could have gone. High key, glad we
Mhm.
didn't.
Oh yeah, me
It
too.
was just sheer mess. Oh, did you also see too that the person who was running this event, that Lisa something something, Lisa Renee
Mhm.
Jones,
Mhm.
she added all of the authors into like her email list and stuff so they get all of her like unwanted promotion
What?
emails. Yes.
What? She's like, you can't get away from me now. Oh my god. That's yeah, no thank
Yeah,
you. That's a hot mess.
it was a hot
So,
mess.
if you guys are curious, next week we're going to be reading a book called Match Me If You Can by Swatchy Hedge. This is a romance book, which I am excited about because I love my romance. But this book follows Gia, who spends her day writing articles for Mimosa, Mumbai's top women's magazine. When she can, Gia dishes out the messy truth of real love on her anonymous blog and attends her family's weekly game nights. Ignore her true feelings for her childhood crush. If that wasn't enough, Gia needs to successfully set up a coworker with her perfect match to get the green light for her new matchmaking column. Thankfully, organizing meet cutes has never been difficult for her. Local pub owner and cocktail genius Jaman can't help but fall for Gia and her meddling spirit. He has always been an honorary part of her family, but even more so since his own move to America. Life is chaotic and loud, but it's also more loving than anything he experienced growing up, and he wouldn't risk losing that for the world. It feels manageable until his pub begins to struggle and his long hidden feelings for Gia grows deeper. When Gia's attempt at an office matchmaking goes haywire, risking new friendships and her relationship with Jaman, she must reevaluate her own thoughts on love. For the first time, Gia realizes that love may be a lot more complicated than she thought. Luckily, happily ever afters are never in short supply in Mumbai. This seems like the cute like friends to lovers romance, which I am beyond excited about, and I love the whole concept of matchmaking. So I'm excited to read this book. But anyways, if you guys enjoyed this chaotic episode where we talked about this chaotic thing, please remember to rate us on Spotify as it does help push us out there. Also remember to check us out and everywhere else you can find a podcast. And we also do have a YouTube channel. You can find it at Just One More Page podcast and go check that out. And Sam will tell you about the rest of our socials.
So if you think we are absolutely hilarious, which fun fact, my friends, we are, hint, hint, please bring us onto panels. We do have a TikTok. It is a Just More Page podcast. And for all the pictures, anything else we decide to post, stories, schedules, we do have an Instagram. It is Just More Page official. So go ahead and come find us, come stalk us, come slide into our DMs. We love talking to y'all. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we will talk to you all next Sunday.
Okay.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.